What is up, everybody? I am going to make this a quick one, but we keep hearing these conversations about gender dysphoria and, mass manipulation on society through corporations. And, I want to provide some perspective, right? And this is just personal experience. I am a mom and I have three children, two girls, one boy. Now, my younger children are a little bit more closer than age. I have a 5-year-old son and a 9-year-old daughter. Now, when my son was really little, right, him and his sister, obviously, they share rooms, different beds. And so, obviously, their toy boxes, they would have their separate toy boxes, but when it's cleanup time, everything goes in there, really. I have seen my son pick up my daughter's Barbie dolls and frolic about, look at her boobies. He was a breastfed baby. Um, I've seen him pick up her little like princess crowns or unicorn crowns. Um, I've seen my son sitting around pulling on his little junk as a child very early. And I did not conclude in my head that my son did not want to be a boy. I did not nurture him wanting to play with girl toys. I let him just phase out of it. And I think that's where a lot of people are missing the conversation here when you want to talk about trans kids. There, in my opinion, there is no such thing as a trans child. There's a such thing as a parent that has nurtured their child into a gender that either they wanted the child to be or they feel like the child may be displaying characteristics of being gay and they may feel like it's easier for the child to just live as another the sex that they think that they identify with. And so, and it's interesting because when I think of gay men, I have gay neighbors, and a lot of them are like, no, I'm a man, right? I just like other men, right? It's pretty simple for them, right? They have an attraction to other men, but they don't desire to be women. Many of them are feminine, which could be an indication of wanting to be feminine. But I think sometimes when you have a male child that has been under the dominant influence of a female, sometimes that child tends to be a little bit more feminine. And that's why it's so important for moms, I don't care if the man wanted you, left you, whatever, to always have the man in that boy's life. He always needs to have that masculine reinforcement of who he is. When a young boy, especially after the age of 8, is predominantly around women, he's going to be slowly emasculated and hyper feminized. And any credible psychologists who have stepped back and looked and observed these things would agree with that, in my opinion. But, I don't think that there's a such thing as trans children. I think that there's a such thing as children who have been nurtured. And I think right now what we are seeing in America is the collaborative effort to nurture our children into this lifestyle. So schools are now telling parents who are actually doing right by their kids and letting their kids just grow up and exist that they have to accommodate some parent that did not do right by their kid or did not nurture them in the right fashion. And that is what we're dealing with. Nature versus nurture, where you have some parents who are letting nature play out and you have some parents who are actually allowing nurturing to happen into a lifestyle that a lot of times when you see these trans people, they have a lot of unreconciled issues. And just like race, they're kind of wearing their gender identity on their sleeves, right? So when you talk to these people, and you say, who are you? They'll tell you they're trans. And it's like, okay, that's what you are. Who are you? Tell us about your character. Tell us about your core intellectual and personal value. They can't, right? I mean, and this is the craziness. So I'm looking at Megyn Kelly, and she's going through the history of Dylan Mulvaney, and I would encourage you guys to check that out. And she's going through this guy going through these phases of who he thinks he is. First he's them theirs, he's non-binary, and he's finding all these attention seeking strategies, right, to be the one of the faces of this obvious movement. And it's interesting how we are normalizing mental health in America. And that's exactly what we're doing. We are normalizing mental health issues in America. And for some reason, corporations, they're so evil and greedy, they are profiting off of this because maybe their key shareholders are telling them that this is something that is beneficial for them. But regardless, we live in La La Land, aka the United States of crazy. And I think that just people need to be more intelligent. I think we need to get back to some of our old school, psychology classes. I'm very happy that, like, as a kid, as a student growing up, I actually was like a sponge. I remembered everything. I was interested in a lot of things in school. I actually had really good teachers. Like, I feel bad for the kids these days because they have all these young, trying to be relevant, trying to be clout chasing people who are saying that they are educators, 21, 22, fresh out of college. And not saying that these people can't be good teachers, but a lot of them have grown up in a way different psychology, right, than teachers. And even we grew up, right? Because we didn't grow up with social media dictating our value. We had to go out and do that ourselves. We didn't grow up with having to be on a bunch of movements. If anything, it was just maybe fashion, but now it's behaviors. Like, a lot of these movements are behavioral. And when you see these TikToks, like, my kids can't be on TikTok. But when you see these TikToks, I mean, this is all part of that machine of manipulation. Social media, the education system, and even down to some of these trend parents who are easily manipulated by these so-called psychologists, who are affirming, like, think about the delusion of something called gender affirming care, right? Gender affirming care, knowing that gender dysphoria is classified as a mental health issue. And this is what we're normalizing. So, you guys, this is not even about religion. This is just about common sense. Like, everybody want to make every argument that opposers or dissenters say about religion. And really, sometimes even if you just divorce anybody's religious morality from these conversations, they just don't make sense from a common sense level. They just don't. From a natural common sense level, even down to a functional society level, they don't make sense. Because we're not talking about, when these people are on these hormones, the additional psychological issues that they have. We don't want to talk about those things. We don't want to talk about some of the other complications that these people go through, these children go through, impotent eunuchs. We don't want to talk about that because we want to make this stuff look cute and virtuous. And big corporations should be ashamed of themselves. So you guys have a wonderful day. Just wanted to keep this short, under 10 minutes. But this is disgusting, and all I can say is protect your kids, put your kids on radar, send them to school with knowledge to equip them to be able to address and recognize some of this indoctrination that is going on so that you can help protect them. So that's all I got for you guys. Bye.